Oh, I didn't see you there. Welcome to the party, pal. Your friendly neighborhood Master Chaos, back with you once again. Welcome to my office. You may have become acquainted with it in a previous video. I will link that above. I was working on my script today. I was able to crush 30 pages, which is basically the entire first act of the film. It's a very ambitious goal I've set for myself. Usually most writers will do 5 pages, maybe 10 pages. 10 pages is a great day. I'm hitting the goal of 30 pages a day, not only because I love to write and I've done it so much that it's easy for me, but we want to go into production in October, which means I have to hurry and get everybody a script so they know what we're doing. And right now it's up to me to make sure that everybody knows what's going on and what the movie is. So I'm having a great time. It's a little exhausting, and I am exhausted at the moment, as you can see. It's dark out, but it's nice and quiet here at home, and I'm relaxing with you guys with today's episode. Today's episode is very special. It is a battle of the boutique labels. What does that mean? Very simply, I and a couple of friends, namely Todd E, Walnuts and Undead Nightmare 24, we're going to compare two similar boutique Blu-ray, DVD label companies, and we're going to sort of pros and cons their merits and their titles and their packaging, all that stuff. And at the end of the video, we're going to come to a consensus as to who we think is the winner. Of course, namely the battle is between Severin and Vinegar Syndrome. So first up, what I'd like to do is show you my Vinegar Syndrome collection. I don't have a lot, but the ones I have are films that I really enjoy. I've got Graduation Day, a really fun film. I've got There's Nothing Out There. This one is a hoot. I've talked about this in a previous video. I actually talked about the Vinegars in a previous video. I'm going to link that up above as well. You might have missed it as one of the early ones. Incidentally, this office and this outfit, this is where I shot my original Master Chaos videos. If you're new here, you probably haven't seen those. I'd suggest you go back and check those out. They're very different from the stuff I do now, but it was very fun. I had a good time with those. Anyway, I have Massage Parlor Massacre. And then The Bees. I just got this. John Saxon is in it. I want to be reviewing this one pretty soon from Master Chaos Theater. And then, technically, Vinegar, it's AGFA, but I know they work together. McPherson Tape. McPherson Tape, this is something that scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. I thought this was a real UFO abduction video. It is not. Now, I have a lot more of my Severin collection. So I'm going to go through the Severin collection real quick, and then I'm going to turn it over to my first special guest. Asylum. I also covered most of these, about 5 or 6 of these in another video. I'm going to link that above as well. Wild Beasts. Really fun film. Changeling, of course. Classic. Devil's Reign. Love this movie. Burial Ground, of course. Wonderful film. The Uncanny. I based the whole episode on this. The whole Severin episode was based around Peter Cushing's hatred of cats. Drive-In Massacre. Right here. And the Screaming Starts. And Now the Screaming Starts. That's what it was. And Now the Screaming Starts. Not And Now the Creaming Starts. That's another movie. I don't have that one. Invasion of the Blood Farmers. Look at my little... notice my little Pennywise? He is a candle, but the wax is maybe obscuring it a little bit. Dead Kids. Australian horror film. This is actually the first Severin I got. The Horrors of Spider Island. I just picked this one up in another video. I'll link it above in case you missed it. There's a lot of links happening. It's good. You have stuff to do if you need to catch up. Enigma, of course, reviewed this on Master Chaos Theater. Yes, I'm going to drop a link. Demonia. This was also reviewed on Master Chaos Theater. These are recent, by the way. Enigma and Demonia. And I'll link that above. A lot of stuff happening in the beginning here. Killer Crocodile. I also reviewed this one, part 1 and part 2. I won't link that one. It's older. You'll find it if you want to read it. And then, of course, or not read it, watch it. Frankie and His Pals. Now, I've shown you what I have. Before I weigh in, I'm going to toss it over to my first special guest, the one and only Mr. Todd E. Walnuts.
I'm going to break these down in categories. I'm going to start with box sets. I'm going to go to kind of gimmick releases. I'm going to talk a little bit about drive-in style films. And I'm going to kind of talk about a specialty that each company has. So getting into the box sets first, to save a little time, I did take the lids off, but these are very high quality, thick outer shells. This is the Amityville, the Cursed Collection. It has a very nice packaging with a mix of gloss and matte finish. And the discs are housed inside. Same thing with Forgotten Gialli Volume 1. It's a very hard outer shell, very high quality. Very nice art on the box. Discs are housed inside. So let's take a look at the Severin box sets. Getting into the Severin box sets, we have Hemisphere Horrors that I pulled out and the Blood Island collection. And the first thing I look at is the quality of the box, and it's a little bit cheaply made. You can see that it's starting to pull apart a little bit there at the bottom corner. These are not handled very often, but these will not last as long as a Vinegar Syndrome box set. But with that said, the art on these releases look really cool. I like the color schemes. I like the black cases. These transfers cleaned up really nice. These are films that were made in the Philippines in the 60s and 70s. So getting into the Blood Island collection, same thing. It's a very kind of a cheaply made box. These were both limited to 3,500. Again, the color schemes and the art looks really good on these. The black cases, these are really nice. Other than the box, I think these are excellent sets. So it's hard to pick a clear-cut winner. So let's get into the next category. The next category is what I like to call kind of a gimmicky feature that sometimes companies use to sell their movies. And in this case, for Vinegar Syndrome, for Jack Frost, and for Demon Wind, they have these really cool lenticular slipcovers, which it's hard to pass these up. And these are really nice additions. These do come with a pretty decent amount of bonus features. And these are just fun all-around additions to grab. So that was a kind of a gimmick release from Vinegar Syndrome. Let's see what Severin has. Severin also does have a gimmicky lenticular cover. This is called Threads. It's a film from 1984. It's a British apocalyptic movie. You can see that the Big Ben in the background is just getting annihilated. And they also have releases sometimes every once in a while that are signed, and that's kind of a gimmick to me, and I think that's really cool. This first one is Nightmare Castle, signed by Barbara Steele in Silver Sharpie. And there was many others that they had signed, but these are just a couple I picked out. Zombie 3 and 4, which were signed by Claudio Fragasso in gold Sharpie there on the front. Again, there's no clear-cut winner. So let's move on to the next category. The next category, and one of my favorite topics, is grindhouse-style drive-in movies. And Vinegar Syndrome has released a few, and I picked out a couple. This is Madman, Christmas Evil, and Pigs. And these are all kind of low-buck horror films that were shown at some point or another in drive-in movies. And these were also big releases on VHS back in the day. These do come with some pretty decent bonus features, and the transfers look really good. These two were originally issued without slipcovers. This is Pigs, and this did come with a slipcover. So these are very cool. Let's move over to the Severin Grindhouse drive-in features. So for Severin, some of their better drive-in style films are The Devil's Reign, starring Ernest Borgnine, kind of a satanic movie from the 70s. This one was limited to 1,500. Killer Crocodile and Killer Crocodile 2. It's a great double bill. It's a fun watch. Very good drive-in style film. And Eaten Alive, which is a cannibal film from the 70s. And these are all fun watches, and these were all memories I had of renting VHS, and these were all movies that were shown at a drive-in at one time or another. Again, there's no real winner. Category 3 is what I'm calling a specialty release, and these are films from the 70s that are starring Rudy Ray Moore as Mr. Dolomite in most of these movies. These are movies that you would not expect to get Blu-ray releases, but here Vinegar Syndrome released them. Not only did they have a lot of bonus features, but they do have 2K scans of these movies that I remember renting on VHS, and I can quote a lot of these movies verbatim. I love these movies. And I'm just glad that Vinegar Syndrome gave these movies the love that they deserve, because I don't see any other companies releasing these type of movies. So I'm very glad that Vinegar Syndrome released these. Let's see what Severin has to offer. A couple of releases from Severin that I think are must-owns are this trailer compilation called All the Colors of Giallo. And if you're a fan of the genre, you should definitely grab this one. It's a 3-disc set. You get a Blu-ray DVD and a CD soundtrack. And you get over 5.5 hours of classic trailers plus a bonus CD of legendary Giallo themes. It's a beautiful edition. And they also released this documentary by Sheldon Renan, and it was also signed by Sheldon Renan in Silver Sharpie, called The Killing of America, and it's a brutal study of violence in the USA. It is uncut, uncensored. It's a 2K scan, and it just kind of chronicles some of the dark history of the US, such as serial killers, violent protests, war, etc. So these are definitely 2 films that are worthy to purchase for your Severin collection. I'm going to show one more edition for each company, and then I'm going to wrap this up. But this is Bloodhook. This is not a very good movie. It's a fun watch, but the reason I'm bringing this one out, I wanted to give it a shout out because this movie was filmed in Wisconsin. That's where I live. This is called Bloodhook, and I don't think anybody else would have ever released this movie. And not only did Vinegar Syndrome release it, but they gave it a beautiful slipcover, and they gave it all these bonus features. So that is a big thumbs up to Vinegar Syndrome for that. One more to show. The last one here is called V, and it was made during the Soviet era, 1964. This is a demonic entity type movie. It's a folklore tale about priests that deal with a demon. And this is a very good film. It's very underrated. I recommend everybody check this one out. It is in Russian, and you can watch it with English subtitles. And that is it. I want to thank Master Chaos for inviting me and joining me in on this this little project that he put together. I thank you guys for watching. Take care, and I will see you guys in the next video. I just wanted to conclude the video by saying I don't think there's a clear winner between the two. I love both companies, and I want them both to succeed. I love what they're doing, and I really had a fun time making this video. Thanks again. Take care.
Well, Todd ended his video in a draw. He couldn't pick a winner. I don't know if his video has swayed you or maybe changed your opinion. I'm sure you have an opinion. I would hasten you to hold your comments till the end of the battle, and then comment below freely and let me know what you think. If you have a favorite, and why that is. Now, before we hear from Undead Nightmare 24, I'm going to do a little bit of comparison on my selection as well. I think from the looks of things, just based on my interpretation of the labels and my tastes in the genre, I think you can kind of tell where I lay, at least early on right now. This is all my Vinegar Syndrome, and this is my Severin overflowing. Hold on a minute here. See if I can get it a little more organized. Anyway, there you go. Look at that. Quite a bit bigger than my Vinegar collection. Not that I have anything against Vinegar. I love what they do. I respect any label that puts out quality films. Well, quality. I say that with a caveat. Of course, these films are not always of quality or merit, to be fair. And I'm saying that as a filmmaker, of course, and as a fan. But I do respect a label that supports lost films. I think films, no matter their quality, and I love, not great films, should be supported, should be, rewarded with some kind of respect and admiration, regardless. You don't have to like everything. I mean, I certainly don't like this. I think for me, the reason I have less Vinegar than I have Severin is because, well, Severin's older, number one. It's been around longer. And I was not as familiar with Vinegar stuff until fairly recently. And a lot of their stuff was, well, how should I put it? Not stuff I really gave 2 cents about, to be honest. Severin, for me, puts out stuff that I really like, that I really enjoy, stuff that I think really pops, you know? And so that's why I have more Severin titles. When it comes to special features, for me, I think they are about equal. I don't really find a major difference when it comes to their special features. They, you know, some releases have great stuff, some releases have nothing. Some releases just have a trailer and oh hey, a mono track, or hey guys, guess what? Now you can hear the radio spot, which I kind of like the radio spots, but you know, it's hit or miss with the special features, and they're all very equal when it comes to supplemental materials. So I can't really decide based on that. I think, for me, the battle lies between the titles. So, before I move any further, let's check in with my second special guest. That is Undead Nightmare 24. Let's find out what he thinks about the debate between Vinegar versus Severin.
Hey, how's everyone doing there tonight? This is Undead Nightmare 24. This is going to be a video for Master Chaos TV collab video. He reached out to me and told me he wanted to do a collab video with a few of us there on a pretty interesting topic. So I agreed to it. Sounds like a lot of fun. It's a battle between the boutique companies on Blu-rays and DVDs, physical media in general. The one I chose to do was it's going to be Vinegar Syndrome versus Severin films. Which one do I prefer more? So this is a tough one. I chose the toughest one probably. I do enjoy both. I don't know if that's going to sound popular, really explaining it, but I enjoy both in different ways. So I will show that for you guys quickly there. I'm going to start off with the Severin. We have a Severin edition here, and I really enjoy the slips. As you can see, it has nice art. I'm just showing this film as an example. But what really sets off Severin films for me is the black Blu-ray case, which I really enjoy. I love the black Blu-ray case, and they do come loaded. This one has a soundtrack and a 4K scan, so it's a real nice addition. It comes with a slip. But with Severin, their black cases really set it off far apart from other labels, so I would say that's where it's a better company that way. Now let's get into a Vinegar Syndrome edition here. We got Blood Games. This is off there. This one's, look at the artwork on this slipcover, man. It's just amazing. And this slipcover is like probably the best in the game, guys. So that's where Vinegar Syndrome has the edges on these slipcovers. And then they come with some alternate artwork as well. And they got clear cases which are just as excellent. So I would say Severin has the better Blu-ray case, but then I would say Vinegar Syndrome has the better slipcover. And another thing that Vinegar Syndrome has is they're releasing these lately. 4Ks, they're in the 4K game, so that gives them an edge as well on Vinegar Syndrome, and that's the addition of Rad. So that gives another point there to Vinegar Syndrome. Now I'm going to go with Severin. We have this Blood Island set. The box case is pretty flimsy, thin. This is an excellent edition, don't get me wrong, guys, but I wish they would have made this a little bit, you know, thicker material. So then that's where Vinegar Syndrome again is coming up. And let me get this. I'm going to go with this Angel box set, for example, which opens up incredible. Has some good emboss. And this is very thick, very strong material there. So that gives another edge to Vinegar Syndrome. I do enjoy both these companies, don't get me wrong. I'm just comparing them. But then we have Vinegar Syndrome that comes out with this box set, the Lindsay Baker. This slides out similar to their like Jello, Forgotten Jelly from Vinegar Syndrome. So then they took a step out of there, and it has the black editions as well. So that puts Severin up there. So it goes back and forth. Both these are excellent companies. and I really enjoy them. So what I'm showing there on those editions is pretty competitive. They're both boutique labels companies. They put out excellent things. I would say if Severin Films would get they get in the 4K game, they'll be right neck and neck with Vinegar Syndrome. But right now, my personal opinion is going to be Vinegar Syndrome has the edge. Both have great films. But right now, Vinegar Syndrome's just putting a little more into their editions. But that doesn't mean Severin ain't coming up, because they are. Like I said, if Severin Films would get in the 4K game, they would be top. They would be probably neck and neck. But then it's hard to top a Vinegar Syndrome slipcover. So right now, I'd give the edge to Vinegar Syndrome. Even though I do enjoy both companies, don't get me wrong. That's the best I can explain it. And I want to send a shout out to you, man. Thanks for the collab video. This is a really fun thing to do, and I really enjoyed the topic as well. This is Undead Nightmare 24. Everyone, stay safe out there and keep it horror. Peace.
So it sounds like Undead Nightmare 24 is leaning towards Vinegar Syndrome. And I got to give it to him. His video reminded me. I do have a box set. I do have more of Vinegar Syndrome at home. This is a fantastic box. It's nice and sturdy. It's not flimsy. Got 3 beautiful blues in there. This is a great box set. 100%. 100%. I would give box sets to Vinegar Syndrome, hands down. They win. 100%. However, Severin is sort of getting into that with the Lindsay Baker box set. So they're starting to do really nice box sets. Their packaging has been lacking, of course. Everybody knows that the slipcovers, Vinegar Syndrome slipcovers are beautiful. They're sturdy. They feel like real collector's pieces. I'm usually not a slipcovers guy, but I think a Vinegar slipcover is a highly coveted item, collector's item. If you look at a slipcover for Severin, they're papery. They're not very special. It's actually hard to pull the movie out without ripping this thing. It's a little flimsy. It's a kind of whatever thing, but I think Vinegar really does a good job of making it beautiful, make it pop. It's got matte finish with some glossy touches. It's gorgeous. I just ordered Pandemonium. Hopefully I'll get that pretty soon. I'll review that for Master Chaos Theater. I can't wait to watch that film. The slip on that looked amazing. Even if the movie's whatever, I think the cast alone and the packaging is going to make me happy. And maybe that's where Vinegar Syndrome makes its business. I'm not going to say trick people, but they show the collector a pretty package and then they get you to buy it. And here's the problem. Now here's where I lay. Not to make this a 40-hour video. Hearing from Todd, hearing from Undead Nightmare 24, I think for me, the most important thing as a collector, as a film fan, as a genre fan, as a filmmaker, as anything, somebody who understands cinema, somebody who watches cinema, somebody who studies cinema, blah, blah, blah. The most important thing is not packaging, not special features. I honestly barely watch special features, almost never, because I know how to make a movie, and if I'm interested in something, I would either have read a book on it or whatever. So I almost never watch the special features. I'll watch commentaries, and that's usually only on Criterion that I'll pop in a commentary normally. So it's not special features specifically for me, not packaging. It's the title. It's the film, because I buy it for the film. So the reason I don't have enough Vinegar titles, and the reason I have this box set was it was sent to me by a subscriber. Again, thank you, George. Appreciate it. The movies in here are kind of crap. They're not good movies. They're Forgotten Gialli for a reason. So would I have bought that box set normally? No, I would not. I mean, there's stuff I do like, Graduation Day. There's stuff that they have that I like. Vinegar's titles are very, obscure is the wrong term, different. They're unique. They're not what you expect it to be. They're not the really juicy titles, at least for me, that I want to collect. I mean, here you got Amicus. You've got some really noteworthy Italian zombie films. Some really great American cheesy horror stuff. You got Australian titles, and you've got, then you get shit like this, but that's fine. And you got giant crocodile movies. There's a gamut, but there's a certain type of quality that I think Severin kind of strives for when they pick a title, and I appreciate the hell out of that. I think it's obvious for me. The battle of the boutique labels. Round 1, Severin versus Vinegar Syndrome. After hearing, the opinions of my fellow YouTubers, Todd E, Walnuts, and Undead Nightmare 24, who, by the way, I'm going to provide links for them down below. If you don't follow them, go down there and follow them and like their most recent video, and then leave a comment saying, hey, Master Chaos sent me, you're awesome. I chose Severin or Vinegar or whatever. I'm sure they'd love to hear from you guys. I'm pretty sure you know them anyway, but for me, after hearing their advice and weighing my collection, my vote, Severin. I'm going to say Severin, hands down, is the winner for me for round 1 of the Battle of the Boutique Labels. What's your vote? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. Now's the time for you guys to chime in. Severin or Vinegar Syndrome? Which one do you like the most? Which one do you buy the most from? That's something to weigh too, because you could say, oh, well, I have more Vinegar than I have Severin, so maybe that's what I like. Yeah, it's up in the air. Of course, Severin has had sort of bad luck lately with their site crashing, during that sale. Halfway to Black Friday sale, there was a whole debacle there. People were mad. They lost a lot of fans, unfortunately. The point is, I like their titles better over Vinegar Syndrome's. My vote is Severin. Okay, my friends, now it's your turn. I'd love to hear from you. This has been your friendly neighborhood Master Chaos. Thank you for joining me. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. If you do, then you will see me tomorrow, because this is a daily show. I am currently writing a film, for those of you who don't know, that we'll be shooting in October. Yes, that is correct. We will be making a movie during the pandemic. So subscribe and you will follow me onto the set, because I will be documenting every shooting day, pre-production, whatever post-production there is, and potentially, I'm announcing this tonight because I haven't really discussed it with with the crew and my wife and things like that, but potentially I will be driving from California to Kentucky, and I'll be taking you on a road trip. We're going to see the sights while we prep for the movie along the way. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you've never experienced day-to-day on a filmmaking journey, then hey, join Master Chaos. It's happening live every day. I'm going to bring you a little bit. I'm writing the script now, and then that's going to be rewrites, and then literally in 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks, I'm going to be in Kentucky making a movie. It's exciting. It's scary because it's a weird time, but it'll be fun to document how safety precautions and things like that are going to happen. And then I get to announce my cast, which I'm very excited about. We have people already lined up. Can't say, of course, because there's no contracts in place, but I have some really exciting people lined up for my cast. Big names too, but right now I can't say anything. There's no script either, so it's just a wish list. Anyway, I'm rambling. Please subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow if you do. If you're old here, it's good to see you, my friend. You're looking well today, and I really like that new hairstyle. Well, my friend, it's getting late, and I had to do a little proofreading, so I'm going to say goodbye for now. Until we meet again, I wish you a very pleasant good evening, wherever you are.